I want to bring you out to this live look here out of Fort Worth, Texas, as we've been covering winter weather. We do know as much of the Northeast digs out from the biggest snowstorm in half a decade. New York, Philadelphia, and Boston could all be on track to see another major system on its heels. But as we've been covering, more than just the Northeast was impacted by snow and frigid temperatures this past weekend. States like Texas still dealing with the impacts. Joining us live now is Texas Congressman Brandon Gill on LiveNOW from Fox. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, what have you been hearing there from your district about the impacts of the winter weather? What have you been hearing? What have we been seeing?
Well, the biggest thing to keep in mind whenever you have storms like this in a state like Texas, who's not used to having sub-freezing weather for multiple days, is power outages. That's the biggest thing. If people can stay home and they can stay warm, then typically they can stay safe. Luckily in Texas, particularly in North Texas, which I represent, we have not seen widespread power outages like we did several years ago. You do have localized power outages where wind or ice or something like that takes down a power line. Emergency officials have been able to get out and fix those, restore power relatively quickly over the past few days. So we've been very blessed in that sense. People are hunkering down. The roads are extremely icy. Of course, it's freezing cold outside. But again, as long as the power stays going, people generally stay safe.
Now, we did hear you were on Fox News just the other day, and you said we've got what we need to get through this. How are you coordinating with state and local officials in Texas to make sure emergency services and resources are getting where they are needed the most?
Yep, so my team and I are in daily contact with local mayors, county commissioners, county officials, county judges, as well as the Texas Emergency Preparedness Department. And as well as the National Weather Service. So we're getting real-time information every day, making sure that the local officials have what they need. We're talking to warming centers, which are areas that anybody who, if their power goes out or if they're homeless, can go to, can stay warm, can get out of the weather. We're regularly talking to local food banks to make sure that they have what they need. That helps coordinate if power does go out in large areas, that will allow us to coordinate responses. So we're in daily contact with them. And right now, local food banks are telling us that they have what they need. And warming centers are telling us that they still have capacity.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on that. So you mentioned power outages. We do know in Texas they started spiking on Saturday, and after peaking above 150,000 on Sunday, that number of outages has been trending downward. But given past winter storm failures in the state's power grid, what specific steps could or should Congress take to improve grid resilience to extreme cold?
Yeah, the answer, I think, is to get as much power, put simply, as possible. I've been a big proponent of using fossil fuels, oil, natural gas, resources that are available in extreme cold like what we're seeing now. Now, I think that those are long-term solutions, things that we need to look at once we get through this immediate storm. Right now, the goal is to make sure that the people of North Texas, people all over Texas are safe. But long term, I think better grid reliability depends on energy resources that are available all the time.
When we talk about recovery efforts and timeline, where do we stand with that in the state of Texas?
Well, right now, again, we're dealing with immediate issues that arise whenever localized power goes out. We're dealing with that. Emergency officials are on the scene. We're helping local resources get what they need, again, whether it's food banks or warming centers, and that's where the focus is right now.
And Congressman, if we could, before we let you go here, I do want to head back out to Washington, D.C., because Congress is now days away from a partial government shutdown because Senate Democrats say they won't advance a funding bill that includes DHS. What is your message to Americans who are concerned about another government shutdown or Homeland Security?
Well, the message is that I hope that Democrats will come to the table and negotiate in good faith, or will work in good faith. These are bipartisan deals that had been, this appropriations deal that had been worked on for several months now. And the reality is Democrats want to hold up funding because they don't want to give money to ICE. Well, we already funded ICE in the tax bill last summer that we passed, the big, beautiful bill. So I hope that Democrats will come to the table. Listen, this is a $60 billion DHS appropriations bill. That includes money that goes to FEMA and other emergency services. So I hope that, particularly given this national storm, that Democrats will come and they'll again negotiate in good faith so that we can get this signed.
All right, Congressman, we appreciate you coming on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you.